Really, guys? Really?
Man, that sucks. Whoever has to edit that. Anyway, hello and welcome to the podcast about Transformers
Leave that in.
comics, toys, and everything in between. I'm Onyx Prime with my two co-hosts here.
Hi, I'm Computron.
Hi, I'm Kilobyte.
Straight faces, everyone. Moving on with our comic discussion for today's episode takes us to IDW for All Mankind Volume 1. And as always, spoiler warning. So if you haven't read it already, we highly recommend you go back, read it, then listen to the podcast. Now, one of my Earthling friends told me that if you click that like button on this video or subscribe, that really helps us grow, and we really appreciate that. Now, onward with the podcast. Both Computron and myself have read this series already, but this is Kilobyte's first time, and we are excited to hear his thoughts. Woo! But before we dive into that, Computron, do you mind telling us some fun facts?
Yep, and as usual, we'll start with the hard stuff first and then get into the fun stuff later. So, first things first, issue 1 was released November 18th, 2009, and issue 6 was available April 28th, 2010. And the writer was Mike Costa. The artist was Don Figueroa, with colors by James Brown and Andrew Dahlhaus. All right, so fun facts. On page 2 of the first issue, Sludge has a Decepticon insignia on his shoulder.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, Mike Costa had originally intended to kill Bumblebee, believing it was the most shocking death he could do. Hasbro said no! Although, no, never mind, spoilers. In issue 4, Thundercracker. In issue 4, Thundercracker states that the 4 Decepticons that found him dead did not know of his betrayal because they were all off on a different part of the planet at the time. Which kind of also explains why they repaired him instead of finishing him off. Anyway, All Hail Megatron showed all but Dragstrip to be present in New York City.
He was lying, or he forgot.
That's a total forgot move, man. Anyway, Kilobyte, do you mind giving us a short summary of these comics?
Will do. Optimus Prime reflects on the responsibilities of all advanced races to spread freedom and peace, and laments that all the Cybertronians have spread is war. The Autobots have been in hiding amongst humans for the last 2 years as Earth cities were rebuilt following Megatron's planet-wide assault. This information, as always, has been taken from the wiki.
Righto. So, first thoughts jumping in, we see that the art style has been influenced some by the movie again, which was
Michael
not released. Yeah, Michael Bay.
That's why there's so many explosions.
So many explosions. They're baying it up. They're baying it up. So the movie that was not released so long ago. I think the second movie was released at this time, Revenge of the Fallen. Don't fact check me on that, listeners. If I'm wrong, actually, yes, fact check me and tell me in the comments. What's your thoughts so far?
The beginning was interesting to me because, it's Optimus like recounting like, we had our war here, we destroyed their town and they rebuilt, but we didn't help. I'm like, okay, thanks. He goes, but we hid. I'm like, oh, thanks again. You guys are so helpful. Giant robots that completely destroyed New York City, just hiding. Not helping, hiding. Yeah, you guys are great.
I mean, the robots in disguise for a reason, right?
Plus, they're also a big target.
This is true.
Sure, but there's some accountability going on here, and Bane.
Well, they were stuck in Cybertron.
This is true.
Codes and everything.
And Cybertron's kind of has an infestation problem going on right now.
Yeah, it's just a pest problem.
You just need some raid, and you just spray them all. The Autobots have some tension whether or not to return to Cybertron or leave Earth, since they believe that the war has ended and Megatron, air quotes, is dead. What's your thoughts on that?
Get off my planet.
Very interesting that they decide to stay, because I know why they're staying. Take care of any stragglers left behind by the Decepticons. But at the same time, it's like you're in a planet that doesn't want you, and they'll probably try to do anything to kill you or destroy you, try to rebuild Cybertron.
And I know what they're doing, and it's just because I read the comics already. But I don't know. Like, one of my things that I had a pet peeve is that they were intentionally putting themselves in a sandwich situation. And they knew that the humans were building these robots from deceased, bots, and they were clearly, able to take care of themselves, especially after poor breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of broke down.
Yeah, he broke down pretty bad. And then this is one of the reasons why I hate Spike. Spike just uses breakdown as his own car.
Yeah, that's a little messed up, right?
Isn't it? Like, it's,
Yeah,
It is.
that feels like a lot like slavery. But
that's
that's
exactly
just
what
me.
it is.
I still found it funny though.
Oh man,
You're so mean.
it's real messed up. Another thing that goes horribly wrong is Hot Rod leads a mission that goes horribly wrong, which results in Ironhide dying.
Yeah,
This
I wasn't
causes
expecting
yeah, right? This causes Optimus to remove himself from command and surrender to the humans. And Rodimus decides to try and leave Earth with a group of Autobots, and the rest decide to stay behind and elect a new leader. My
While
vote
trying
goes
to take command again.
right. My vote goes to Cliffjumper because I hear he's a one-bot army.
that. Yep, we saw that in Volume 3.
I heard he's definitely one of those bots that doesn't die a lot.
No, he definitely handles himself pretty well.
Yeah.
You don't mess with him. He never dies.
Oh gosh. And my favorite thing about that whole situation is that Hot Rod was getting, a little antsy, and because he was getting fed up that they were hiding, and he wanted to go in and rescue Prowl and another Decepticon, right? I think it was Breakdown at the time.
Another Autobot, I think, right?
Oh, another Autobot. Yeah. And so they go in there, and well, they got their tailpipes kicked hard. Just hard. Ironhide doing to Hot Rod what I think Optimus did to Hot Rod in the movie.
Got in the way?
And yeah. And then Hot Rod, after being a complete failure of a leader, decides, hey, I want to lead again. Vote for me. No.
Yeah, and when he doesn't get his way, he leaves.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting character trait, which is not the first time or last time we'll see this.
Actually, let me correct that. He didn't ask for votes. He said that he didn't want to vote to go on because he said people would just vote for himself. But he did ask people to follow him.
This is true.
Which is still ironic.
Yeah. Kilobyte, any thoughts?
I like Cliffjumper's being like, I nominate myself. I'm the best leader around. I'm like, okay, sure.
I mean, he has the track record for it.
Like the spotlight was cool, but like most of the other times I see him, he's dead. So I don't know how that's gonna work out.
What? Cliffjumper dies? Oh my premise.
That never happens.
Never happened. What an original concept. Flipping to the Decepticon side of things, we discovered what happens to Thundercrack after he was shot by Skywarp is he's found a new hobby, human television. And he's generally happy. And you know what? That makes me happy.
I really, really want to see a movie that he makes like later in my life going, yep, I don't care how bad it is, I'm watching it.
Doesn't he have a movie coming up here soon about Starscream? But that's spoiler territory. Never mind.
Spoiler.
What?
Yeah, we'll take you to go see it, Kilobyte, after we read the whole continuity. Maybe it'll be out on Super Ultra HD Blu-ray.
Yeah, in a few cycles.
Yeah,
That'd
good
be
stuff.
Or metacycles. Wait. Yeah, metacycles. They're still in production.
What is time?
No.
I do like Jetfire's design here. I don't know about you, but he kind of looks like the stealth bomber Megatron in some parts. I might be stretching it a little, but like he has some I think they look like I don't know what they are. They look like vents to propel him or something, and they look very close to the Megatron with the stealth bomber design because he also has kind of like the vents that float around.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. Maybe we'll throw it
I'll
on
put
the
a
YouTube.
picture.
Yeah,
Put a picture so you can see it. But I really like it. He's
we'll have
very
to put a side by side picture of the Megatron with that.
yeah, for sure. I'll do that.
Um,
I'll do. But I do like that Hot Rod in his leadership position tries to leave Earth, and he ends up teaming up with Decepticons to do so.
Not just any Decepticons, mind you. We see Swindle has landed himself a great deal working with Hot Rod in making a space shuttle together. Totally no bad intentions planned at all.
Absolutely not.
None.
It's Swindle we're talking
Yeah.
about here. The best Decepticon in the whole world.
Yep. His
He's so
name does not give
kind-hearted.
any red flags.
Right. No red flags at all, especially when he's feeding into Hot Rod's ego in saying everything Hot Rod is doing is ahead of his time, even going so far to call him Radomus Prime.
Yep.
I thought that was hilarious and an interesting take on how Radomus gets his name.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the introduction to Radomus Prime.
And what an intro. Because everything goes perfectly right and, they live happily forever in a space shuttle with rainbows and robo unicorns.
Oh, but Ultra Magnus showed up and, totally ruined everything because he's a party pooper.
Why did Ultra Magnus showed up?
Oh, some Tyrus Accord stuff by law and, Swindle not having a real good track record. Was a wanted bot.
Come to arrest everybody. Everybody's breaking the law.
Everyone's breaking the law.
One of my favorite things, though, is when Ultra Magnus was talking to Hot Rod. He's like, "You do not have your superior officer's permission to leave." Hot Rod's like, "No way." Well, no, he's like, "You don't have your superior officer's permission to leave. We have to destroy this ship."
Yeah, we have to take this ship apart. And it's just like, what's going on here? It's just, but he made a deal with Swindle and eventually find out what that deal is with Swindle. Hot Rod, that is. So behind the scenes, Swindle has managed to get himself all of the Stunticons. He collected them like a card game or some weird,
The mugs on the shelf.
mugs on the shelf, sure. The deep reference cut there. Deep reference cut. And combine them all into Menasor. This, lady and gentlebots, is our third combiner we've seen so far. What are your thoughts?
Not the most coordinated combiner.
Nope.
No, they're constantly bickering, and they're put together in an unconventional way compared to other combiners. Like, they don't mass shift display, so they're not actually bigger than other combiners. They're literally what happens if you just stack them on top of each other.
Yeah. Which, they kind of ended up almost kicking the butt of all the Autobots, right?
Definitely
And
Ultra
then-
Magnus.
Swindle, to point out on this, Swindle was not in the combination.
No.
No.
No, it was just the Combaticons. And the reason why I'm
Stunticons.
saying this
The
is,
Stunticons, yeah.
the reason why I'm saying, sorry, Stunticons, but the reason why I'm saying this is because, I'd like a map of where they are in that gorge because you gotta watch for falling trucks, man.
Yeah, that's when I go outside and I see the corrosive rain, I never imagine myself a giant truck falling from the sky. But you know who does that the most in this comic series run continuity?
Sure, it's Optimus Prime.
It is
is.
Optimus Prime. This will not be the last time he does that. And he does it in the most spectacular way. It's the scene where Swindle is having himself a monologue with Ultra Magnus, with Ultra Magnus in the hands of Menasor, and all of a sudden, Optimus drops from the sky in truck mode, squashing our little buddy. Poor Swindle.
It was hilarious. Do like that Optimus shows up, he helps them fight and everything, and then once the fighting is done, he's like, "Okay, I'm going back to jail now. Bye."
Yeah.
Right.
But the best part is like I think I grabbed a screen capture of just Menasor Swiss cheese.
Yeah, he's got lots of holes in him at the end. Oh, Dude, yeah, poor Menasor.
We're Stunticons.
Yeah.
Then after all clears, Ultra Magnus and and Bumblebee are still kind of discussing who's in charge or anything like that. And Hot Rod or Rodimus steal his ship, leaves him stranded on Earth.
Radomus steals Ultra Magnus's ship and leaves everyone else behind, which kind of paints him in this very negative view. You know what I mean? Like it makes him not only a coward, but like just
Bad leader, I guess, because
Just he's a turnc or an abandoner kind of.
yeah. Which,
Um,
you know,
one thing I kind of want to point out is that while this is all going, B got voted as the leader after Optimus has left.
good for him.
And it's kind of important to talk because the reason why B and Magnus are in an argument is because Ultra Magnus was asking for the leader and was talking about, and then B was arguing who does he answer to, and then Ultra Magnus, being all high and mighty, talks about how he answers to Tyrus the Court, and B's like, wrong, you answer to me. It's like, okay, B, you go, dude.
Yeah, B's standing up for himself, standing up for the little guys.
yeah, I think that was pretty cool seeing B and Man, and we'll see more as we continue reading. But
Yeah, we
I thought it
definitely
was
will
interesting.
for a short while. A short while.
Just a little while.
Just a little while.
I don't like how you're saying
Spoilers. Spoilers.
clickbait.
Click here to find out what next. I have one more thing I want to say in my notes, but I want to finish up with what you guys have in your notes first.
I love that when Hot Rod first meets like the Stunticons and all that, they start fighting, and then in the middle of it, they're like, "Wait, why are we fighting? What's the point of this? The war is over."
Right.
They're like, "Hey, let's build a ship together."
Friendship and rainbows.
Friendship, by the power of friendship, we will build this spaceship.
I'm not gonna read that crossover, by the way. If anybody asks, no.
and the
That's good.
reason why they're building a ship is because Rodimus goes to Omega Supreme and asks him to leave, and he's like, "Nope, I'm not leaving unless Optimus tells me to." And he's like, "Okay, fine, play it like that. I'll find some other way."
Have it your way. So, I want to, as we've seen in the past before, the Transformers art varies, but for most of the time, it's pretty spot on. It's pretty good. Humans, however, continue to be an issue in drawn, and we'll have screenshots of this throughout the series. But this one, I'm gonna leave you with some really, really weird pictures.
I think what I think I know.
You
what
think
you're
you know where
talking
this is
about.
going? So there's this.
Can we do that? Can we start doing that from here on out? Like, just at the end of each session, leave the dumbest Johnny.
yeah, I think we can.
Do that.
So there's this picture of, I don't know how else to describe it. There's like a mother holding a baby with a full-fledged adult face.
Yep.
That is the scene I was talking about. Yep.
And it reminds me of like those Renaissance paintings somewhat, where like all the babies have just full-on adult faces with beards. That's the last bit of my notes, and I wanted to leave that for last because it's out there.
Something to think about.
So that's all. Kilobyte, what would you rate this out of 5 rod stars?
Oh, I think I'll give it a 3
A 3?
because it had its ups and downs, and we get to find some more information of where everybody is, but we get to see kind of Optimus mentality be like, I'm not fit to be a leader anymore. We get B as a leader. We find Rodimus kind of trying to find his own spot in leadership as well. So it kind of covers everything. But it wasn't kind of like the best story overall. It was mostly kind of just bickering most of the time. Didn't really go somewhere or explained a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. Computron?
I'm gonna be a little bit rough. This isn't my favorite one. I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
I
But
can't tell.
It's the art, isn't it?
yeah.
If you can't get Computron on art, don't even bother.
Oh gosh, I talk about judging a book by its cover. I'm horrible. This is gonna be a 2 for me. I'm sorry.
Our first 2.
I know. The art and the story was just bland to me.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see how
Had some funny bits, but it's not a comedy book comic. It's just a plan.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually go the opposite as I usually go. I'm gonna give this one a 4, a solid
Ooh.
4. That's because we get to find out some more about Thundercracker, and I really like Thundercracker, and you'll find out more later. And it does a good way of painting Radomus's characteristic, like lays the foundation for future comics.
Yeah, he's gonna be like that for the rest of the time.
Not the whole time, but it does allude to that. And then we get some classic Swindle, and sure, the art's very bayverse, and I don't know what to call the humans. Also bayverse? I don't know.
Abominations.
But yeah, a 4 for me.
Right on.
But listeners out there, if you'd like to get in contact with us, perfect segue, by the way, you can email us at swervesbarpodcast@gmail.com. Any other new toys?
I got nothing.
I got some new ones.
You got some new ones, Kilobyte? Go on.
Yeah, I got some MFTs, Optimus and Megatron, so I could display them with my 6-shot and my Blitzwing.
Ooh.
And I really like them. They came with a lot of weaponry and add-ons. Optimus has its trailer, and he has roller, and he has his Energon axe, the Matrix. Megatron has one of a helmet and a gun separate than his cannon, which I think it's a reference to the G1 cartoon.
Absolutely.
And then he comes with his chain or like ball and chain mace thing.
Yeah.
And he turns into a gun. So I've never had a Megatron that turns into a gun. Mostly I've had the tanks. So that was pretty fun to get.
Right on. And then Zephyr, you said you didn't have anything
Well,
else?
let's just say later tonight I'm gonna have me a really nice Optimus and a really nice Megatron and a really nice 6-shot because that sounds great. Please
Better
go to
watch out,
sleep.
Kilobyte. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I got from the Bumbleverse Toyland or whatever it's called. I got a Bumblebee that turns into his Cybertronian saucer form. And that one's really nice. It's in the roughly the same height continuity as like a lot of the Hasbro stuff. Like for example, he looks really good next to my Power of the Primes Grimlock. And he comes with Energon rods. I'm not sure why he came with Energon rods. He can't hold them or store them anywhere. He just has a bunch of Energon rods. Like, I don't know. It's just a reason to make it more expensive, I guess. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty good. That's a pretty good job.
It's not a shelf former.
It's a bit of a shelf former, in a sense, because like the chest that's in his robot mode is not the same look or thing that he uses for saucer mode, which I can understand because like the saucer mode is more wide. But
I also would like to add one more thing to my new voice.
So moving on from that, are you guys ready for our next read, Transformers: Last Stand of the Wreckers?
Oh yeah.
Yes, that was so good.
It's gonna be a good time. I'm so stoked for it. It's one of my favorite ones.
I'm surprised we're already there.
Definitely not a lot of gore or anything, right? This is just a PG one, right?
This is Computron. This is why we're not doing a robot kill count. This is why it's not going to happen. It's just the number would cover the whole screen and we won't have any images to show the audience. Nothing. I also would like to mention to the listeners out there, if you are interested in the upcoming game from Niantic called Transformers Heavy Metal, we do have videos on our YouTube channel that cover the current beta version of the game, which is always getting updated, and we are having videos showing those updates as they come.
Feel free to not send me a friend request. I mean, feel free to send me a friend request.
So nice. All right. Who wants to take us out this round?
I can do it.
You
got
it.
Do it.
Do it.
If you enjoyed this episode, consider sharing it with your friends and subscribing. And as always, thank you so much for listening. Till all are one.
Till all are one.
Till all are one.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Swerve's Bar Podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at Swerve's Bar. If you're interested in more content, try checking out the spin-off D&D series, Transform and Roll Out, Rise of the World Killers.